when the literal fruits of the land were so much at our disposal. And we come into our 50s and 60s, as you've said so gorgeously, still wondering where the payday is, as if it hasn't come and gone a long time ago. I mean, we spent it so long ago. This is the time for work.
Stephen Jenkinson is a teacher, author, farmer, and founder of the Orphan Wisdom School, a teaching house and learning house for the skills of deep living and making human culture. If you search for him on YouTube, you'll also find that he's sometimes called a grief walker. He helps people die, helps them die wise in a death-phobic society. This podcast with Stephen really stretched my thinking, my ancestral thinking, and once it was over, I have to admit I had more questions than answers. The concepts of ancestral amnesia and the village mind do get fleshed out very well eventually, but you might encounter moments in the podcast where you feel like you've gotten lost. I had trouble going along with him sometimes. I had trouble following his train of thought, but that listening difficulty really is my own problem. While listening, I realized that I have so few elders in my life who I can have these kinds of conversations with. So the discomfort, the inability to just listen to the stories, follow his thoughts, that actually pulled me closer. It made me want to understand him better before I pushed off his ideas as false. It's not easy to find teachers like Stephen Jenkinson. This episode is a bit like being in a dream. And Daniel Vitalis, the host, he is a hunter, wilderness advocate, wild food forager, and all-around Renaissance man. He navigates this interview with great honesty. I've been following Daniel's work for several years, from raw vegan all the way to bear hunter. I highly recommend subscribing to his podcast, Rewild Yourself.
You put all this together, and what do you get? A lot of young people who are involuntarily looking to someone, twice their age for a sign that any of this is worth doing. And that's the question. Is it worth it? Can it be otherwise? And it's usually not rhetorical.